Our next honoree is someone who has been in the world of entertainment, interviewing the world of entertainment better than anyone we know. So please, watch the video and see what she's all about.
Evening Magazine.
Namaste, and welcome to Evening Magazine. Hi, I'm Sara Edwards.
And I'm Barry Nolan.
I've been all over the world. I've been all over New England. I've met the most incredible people.
I'm about to jump out of a plane with somebody I just met an hour ago. Am I crazy? Oh, and games, fresh.
You have no idea how much
And now, 7 Entertainment News with Sara Edwards.
Reporting live from the Kodak Theater in Hollywood.
From Los Angeles, California. From New York City at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Awards.
Reporting from London, Sara Edwards.
I've got Ben.
Say hi, how are you?
Hey, will you say hi to Boston
Hey,
for us?
Boston, what's going on? We're in Pearl Harbor. We're rocking Pearl Harbor.
Okie dokie. Goody goody.
See, just you saying that.
You like all that stuff, do you? You're very disturbed.
You were one of my favorites to mimic, and I would grab the spoon and hold it like a microphone, and I would give my family the news and entertainment reports.
All right, then let's close out together, okay? Okay, reporting from Washington, D.C., I'm Sara Edwards for Backstage.
And Ellen Pompeo.
And I can tell you that Sara Edwards never used a stunt double. Barry, on the other hand, our next presenter is a dear friend of Sara, and actually, we just did a podcast together, and I was honored to have him as my guest, a multi-Emmy award-winning journalist. Please welcome Barry Nolan.
I had the privilege of working with Sara Edwards very near the beginning and very near the end of her remarkable career. And there were a lot of years in between. And to tell you the truth, I hardly noticed a difference. As Senior VP of Programming at Hearst, Emerson Coleman was at BZ the first day she walked in. And as Emerson put it, Sara was so energetic, professional, personable, enthusiastic about life that anybody that didn't succumb to her charms immediately was thought kind of strange. She had started off at KLAS in Las Vegas, where I think she was a dancer on the 11 o'clock news. Or maybe she was a reporter learning how to do a one-man band routine. She went from there to the nationally syndicated show The World of People, and that's where my wife, Garland Waller, met her, and they instantly became BFFs. To quote my wife, Sara is the kind of loyal, loving, and supportive friend the best that a person can have. And that's why she has been the bridesmaid at all my wife's weddings. I love my wife. When Sara went on to BZ to host Evening Magazine, everybody loved her there too. Former audio guy and now independent producer Sid Levin said Sara treated everybody from her co-host to Bill and Rose in the snack shop to the dude washing the evening van with respect, attention, and always a thank you. And Sid knows because back then he was the guy washing the evening van. The great videographer Jimmy Arnold, who is here tonight, he has worked with just about everyone who is anyone in Boston back in the day, and he said Sara was one of my favorite show hosts among all the ones that I had the opportunity to work with. Jimmy said, I even liked her more than Bill O'Reilly. And they loved Sara at WHDH when she worked there for over a decade. But Sara is, after all, a human, and there were flaws. As WHDH producer Ann Sawyer noted, Sara's amazing on-air skills were tempered only by her habit of sticking her chewing gum on the back of scripts when she was doing tracks. And evening producer Alan Chebbett recalled how when they were in India, as you saw in that little clip, after spending a day with the Maharaja of Jaipur and playing elephant polo and enjoying a banquet in her honor at this huge 1,500-room palace, her first question to him in the interview was, how do you reconcile having all this wealth when there are people starving right outside the gates of this palace? Alan said that was one of the most genuine, poignantly memorable television moments he had ever witnessed. An evening was supposed to be fluffy. Sara Edwards is the real deal, the whole package, the recipient of a shelf full of Emmys from the New England chapter of NATIS, and I think she got nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize by Comcast. Her intelligence, her honesty, her humility, her kindness, her warmth, and her work ethic put her up there in the pantheon of Boston's greatest TV broadcasters. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor and a privilege to introduce to you the next inductee into the Hall of Fame, Sara Edwards.
Thank you, Barry. You're so wonderful. When I first met Barry Nolan, I had come from Las Vegas, which was still a small town run by the mob. I'd been a news reporter and then did a little show called PM Magazine. So the big city of Boston called me and said, "Do you want to audition for Evening Magazine?" I was like, okay. I arrive at WBZ. I'm looking out the window at Soldiers Field Road in their conference room, very nervous. Who is this Barry Nolan? And out of nowhere, this creature screams, "Boo!" And I turn around, and it's Barry, scrawny, handsome, with his glasses on. He goes, "Hey, I'm Barry." And I started to laugh, and we kept laughing for the next 9 years. We saw New England together, we saw the world together, and our jobs really were to be the audience's best friend. I'd walk down the street, and somebody would say, "Sara, skydiving, really?" And you know, you'd go to a cocktail party, and Barry said, "You have to keep your lips zipped," because someone would say, "I'd like to go rock climbing," and you think, "Oh, yeah, I did that Tuesday." Or they'd say, "You know, I'd love to go to India or Bali." "Oh, yeah, we went there 2 weeks ago." It was one of these amazing jobs, and that is the kind of the theme of my job, is that I'd walk down the street and people would say, "Why can't I do what you do?" And I said, "I'm just lucky." Channel 7 came along after Evening Magazine. Jacques Knotts, I don't know if you remember that name, he was then one of the many news directors. I went through 9 of them at Channel 7. But he brought me in to be the entertainment reporter, and they said, "We want you to work with a producer, Ann Sawyer, but if you don't, get along, you don't have to do it. So Ann, could you raise your hand over there? There's Ann. Ann and I went to lunch, and it was immediate, like me and Barry. We just clicked. How lucky was I? And we had to go do live shots, which I'd never done before. Evening Magazine was pre-taped. So they sent me out with Victoria Block to see how a live shot is done. And she's so professional, and she does it. And I said, "Do you have any advice?" And she said, "Never let them see fear. Do not show fear to the text, to anybody." I said, "Okay." Ann and I go to the Newport Jazz Festival. It's my big live shot. I have my little fancy dress on, and we're outside. It's beautiful. And I'm going to interview Tony Bennett. He's the headliner. Tony Bennett comes out. The live truck is going. Ann is cueing me. I'm interviewing Tony Bennett. It was great. He sang a little bit of "I Left My Heart in San Francisco." We're done. I turned to Ann, and Ann, who was always very calm under fire, says, "Blondie, we didn't get it." I said, "What?" She said, "There's some miscommunication with the people back at the station." She said, "Where's your car?" I had to pull my car up. She got on my car phone to call the station to cue me from the car phone. So then, Tony Bennett. I go trotting in my high heels, and he's ready to do another interview, and I said, "Tony?" And he looks at me puzzled. I said, "That was so great, but we got to do it again." And that man, to this day, I think about Tony Bennett because I was a nervous wreck. He came over, did it all again, and even sang "I Left My Heart in San Francisco" again, while Ann Sawyer is in my car, kind of going, "Go, go." But it's those stories I treasure. I treasure the character of Boston. And I remember having dinner with Kent Damon, may he rest in peace, and he said, Sara, when he was married to Jean Blake from Channel 5, would you interview my kid? I said, your kid? Who? He goes, oh, Matt, he's at Harvard. He's done 2 little movies. I said, Channel 7 is not going to let me interview an unknown. But I said, okay, I'll figure something out. So I go and I interview this kid at Harvard. I think he's got his books in his hip. And I managed to work it into a piece, up-and-comers, on the entertainment scene. And they're like, up-and-comer, why? What did he do? Mystic Pizza when he was 12? And fast forward 2 years, I'm on a red carpet at the Golden Globes. I'm standing next to Entertainment Tonight. Everybody's on the lookout for the 2 golden boys of the Golden Globes, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, who had done a little movie called Good Will Hunting. And they come by, and I see Entertainment Tonight. They're out and they're ready. It was very competitive. It was before they kind of parade everybody to those shows now. And I thought, oh, well, I'll let them get him. Well, Matt Damon sees me and Ben Affleck, and they start screaming, Sara Edwards, Boston! And they are running over, and it might have been John Tesh. I forget who was there from it. It wasn't Mary Hart from Entertainment Tonight. And they're like, who is Sara Edwards? And the guys come over, they throw their arms around me. They give me a great interview. I have an earpiece in my ear. I hear my control room back at HDH cheering, yes, Sara, go Sara. And it was just such a great full circle moment that these 2 young kids who had grown up watching Evening Magazine were so excited to be part of this. So have I had the best career? When Arthur Katz called me, I was in Portugal with my boyfriend. Have I gone, do I have 6 seconds left? Wait, give me 30 more seconds. Arthur Katz called me. I was in Portugal with my wonderful boyfriend, Christopher Stoy, who's here. I finally got a man. I had to leave Boston to get a man, for God's sake. I dated every eligible bachelor except Ernie Bach Jr., for God's sake. So I meet Christopher through one of my mother's caregivers. Can you believe it? But anyway, Christopher has been so wonderful. And what was I saying before that? Oh, Portugal, thank you. So Christopher and I in Portugal, I get an urgent text from Barry Nolan. Somebody named Arthur Katz is trying to reach you. I go, Arthur? I call Arthur. I go, who died at Comcast? Who died? He goes, Sara, no, you're in the Hall of Fame, Broadcast Hall of Fame. I was like, whoa! So Christopher and I celebrated, and I'm so thrilled. I left Boston 8 years ago, and I really miss Boston. I took care of my mother for 8 years. And she died in December, and I know how proud my mother and my father, Bunny, would be. My niece, Tara, is here. I love you, Tara. She flew from LA. And there's no Hall of Fame awards for caregiving. My mother was the ultimate diva. And I feel her presence here with me now, and I thank you all for this award. And my mother would probably say, you were fine, but fix your hair, for God's sakes. Thank you. Mwah.